I wonder how you put this this latest election cycle into context and sort of forecast what that means for additional states down the road.
Well, I think, Carl, it's a bit of the green wave. We were expecting it. We did get it. But what's more important is the margin by which this legislation passed, and it was supported massively by both Republicans and Democrats, both at the state level and to some extent at the federal level as well. And so the only impediment really to further expansion of cannabis deregulation really is the Senate. And I think we'll see what happens there in early January. But the trend in the country is very, very positive, with New Jersey and Arizona both going adult use. Obviously, the governor of New York, the governor of Pennsylvania, and the governor of Connecticut have all said that it's an important agenda of theirs to take their state's adult use. And if they go adult use here in 2021, it'll be 80% of the country will have access to adult use cannabis. And so you would think that at that point in time, the federal government would want to get involved and start moving towards some kind of further deregulation.
Right. Does the industry think Georgia is really a game changer? I mean, are all eyes on the runoffs, or is it more about making it a slow race, slow but steady race at the state level?
I think that Georgia could potentially be a bit of a game changer, but I'm not necessarily sure that's all positive, right? Because we want gradual change rather than something abrupt. If Georgia goes a Democrat and, there's sweeping legislative change at the level of the House and Senate, we'd like to just make sure that it's well thought through so that the industry gets a boost from it rather than creating a lot of chaos. But overall, we're very, very positive. We think that whether Georgia is Democratic or whether Georgia's Republican, we actually think that the change, the genie's out of the bottle, the change is moving forward. We're seeing the incoming chairman, if it's Republican, of the Senate Banking Committee, who said that he is favorable towards safe banking and regulatory change for banking in this area, which would mean that more investors could get involved in the sector, the major banks would be able to finance the sector, and that would bring the cost of capital down dramatically for the cannabis sector.
Boris, it's Morgan here. I mean, it's certainly been a mixed picture just looking at the cannabis stocks this year. I know Curaleaf's up big, something like 85% year to day. A lot's made of the competition between different companies as we do continue to see more states legalize and now this push to decriminalize on the federal level. But it seems like that black market has been really sticky and is arguably the biggest competitor to a legal company such as yours. Is the time ever going to come where we're going to see that black market go away?
So that's a great question, Megan, because for us, we've been saying from day one when we got started in this industry 8 years ago that our competition isn't the other cannabis companies, given the underpenetration. For us, the competition is the black market, the illicit market, the drug dealers that are out there peddling, non-regulated product. That is our biggest problem. And in fact, one of the concerns that we had with the MORE Act, which got passed in Congress, which we don't think will get passed in the Senate, whichever way the Senate goes, is the aspect of decriminalization. Now, get me right on this. We're for reparations and we're for addressing the social inequity issues related to cannabis and the incarcerations regarding that. But to decriminalize cannabis would only embolden the illicit market. It would only embolden them to start growing, manufacturing, and distributing unsafe products around the market. So that's why I said we need really legislation where the industry, together with the FDA and the Senate House, works together to craft legislation that both puts a cap on the illicit market and actually regulates the legal market in the right way.
Yeah, but Boris, it's David. I mean, in New York, which I know you're expecting or hoping will legalize at some point in the not too distant future, but I still feel like people don't have to go that route you're describing. They can go to a friend or they can go to a dispensary soon in Jersey or Pennsylvania, or, they came back from Colorado or California. It just feels like there's an opportunity to get your hands on cannabis if you want it from a reputable source.
Well, you know what, David, you don't know where you're buying the cannabis if you're buying it through someone. And I think the vape crisis last year showed us exactly what it is to go to the black market. We had people that actually died from the vape crisis because they were using products both in the tobacco side and in the cannabis side that were manufactured in the illicit market that were just unsafe. And the fact is the regulated market is safe. I mean, it's like buying moonshine versus buying regulated, alcohol products that are checked. I mean, people used to go blind, as you remember, back in the 1920s through moonshine. And they obviously suffered in the vape crisis. And I think that the CDC proved in their research that it was the illicit market products that were the ones that were unsafe. And so I think for the benefit of the expansion of this industry, the safe expansion of this industry to a wider audience in this country needs to have safe regulation. It needs to have the FDA involved. It needs to have a dialogue between. I mean, we've never had a phenomenon like this where you have this massive industry and you don't have any dialogue with the FDA.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.